Hey, welcome to the Danger Zone. It's Ashley. Everything in my video was found on a public domain, and the full disclaimers down below. Lots of love and many blessings your way. You guys, all of this is getting really nasty, and it just seems to me like Mr. Markle has something to do with this. They all do, in my opinion. I don't understand his backpedaling at this point. It was all good in the hood when he was getting paid. He was talking so much garbage about his own daughter that flies were literally landing on my TV screen. And during that sit-down interview, he said Meghan's always been pushy, she's always gotten her way, she's never accepted no. In other words, she's a brat. During that sit-down interview, he said Thomas Jr. never paid 1 red cent back to him. And in the court records, he claims he cussed them all out, the media, called them liars, and said 85% of what they put out was false. Like I said earlier, it was all good when he was getting paid. Anybody that knows me or my channel and its content knows I swung the bat harder for Mr. Markle than anybody during this entire circus. The day I felt duped by him is the day I read this. Meghan and Harry need to look after Daddy. The royal family owe him. Nobody owes him anything, whether she's a brat that you created or otherwise. Now, according to the court documents, he told Meghan that he not only cussed out Mail Online, but he called them liars and told them they were peddling BS. Wait a minute, he told Meghan this? So we've all been led to believe all this time that they have no relationship? They've not spoken a syllable in how long? His thinking cap's not on tight enough. It's been several months to a year maybe ago that I heard that they did have communication, and that the mother, Doria, went through the agent to be some sort of middleman to pass things between Meghan and her dad. And I wondered why then. In other words, they wanted no record of any kind of contact. Why? I'm curious to see if that spills out during this court stuff. If you've been around in my channel for, I don't know, since I started talking about this, you'll remember what my channel nearly got taken down over. If you're new here, let me share something real fast, vaguely. Do you guys remember when Mr. Markle was hanging out with some young girl and her child? I was in contact with that woman's on-again, off-again boyfriend. He and I had several hours of conversation. He sent me quite a bit of information. I remember thinking to myself, my first gut instinct, gee, is this who he's really hanging out with? Am I feeling sorry for the right one? Is this how Meghan was raised? Not good. Not good at all. I'm going to tell you guys, as an adult, I have lived in some seedy areas. And as you can imagine, I've seen a lot, you guys. But it really shocked me. I'm not going to lie about it. Why would you surround yourself with this person? Why would you surround yourself with these people? I'm going to tell you honestly, I got in a little too deep in that situation. I found out a little too much about what was going on. And what's always kind of bugged me, and I'm just going to level with you guys, if some absolute nosy chick from the swamps of the panhandle of Florida can find this out, why didn't the royals know? It blows my mind to this day. And I should have ran with my initial gut instinct, and I just didn't. I got overtaken by this poor me situation. Poor Mr. Markle, he's eating hot dogs from the gas station. Poor Thomas, he only has one shirt. Poor fella worked so hard to give his daughter everything, and she's left him behind. Always trust your first gut instinct. Don't be duped like I was. Speaking of being duped and doing it to themselves, Meghan's prepared to give out all sorts of royal financial information. Boy, she just don't know. They say she's prepared to talk about who really paid for the upgrades and the renovation of Frogmore, where the money comes from, how it's dispersed. She's crossing a boundary that should never be crossed in anybody's family, much less the royal family. You know, my buddy journalist Jay swears that Harry's brainwashed. he is not the same person that he used to be prior to Meghan, and feels like he's trying to pay his family back for something, it would appear as he's not in his right mind. We'll talk about that in a minute. So the latest thing going around is George and Meghan have been caught sneaking around with each other. Do you think I have any doubt that this happened? He's already been busted with Tom Cruise, remember? Allegedly. Oh, I have to say allegedly. See, I was always told at one point during their Christmas break that they had ended up at the villa with George and Amal Clooney. Whether that's fact or fiction, I'm not sure. I didn't say anything about it for that reason. This article makes a really good point. He is like the top A-lister in Hollywood. Why wouldn't she be with him? The article mentions her going to all sorts of casting calls, auditions. I'm sure George had something to do with that, right? And she's notorious for using people as stepping stones. Why not George? Another one I was told that she's been trying to get after is Brad Pitt. Even after he cracked a joke against Harry and Meghan at the BAFTA Awards. Well, he didn't personally. He wrote the joke. He had it delivered. That's her entire obsession with Angelina Jolie right now. Even though they're no longer a couple, which is a bonus for Meghan, so I've been told, Angelina still co-parents with this man. What a better way to get at him but through his ex. And can I say thank you to my buddy Peter for making these amazing pictures? You're the best. So aside from hiring the exact same team of security people that Angelina and Brad Pitt once used, she's also solicited Angelina's advice and her mentorship. And that means, why wouldn't she cross paths with Brad Pitt? Her new love obsession and hang-ups, I'm being told. Did you ever come across those kind of girls in school? I did once. She wanted to be my friend, and then when me and my boyfriend would go out, she wanted to be the third wheel. She had such beautiful hair. I talked her into a haircut. Her mama chased me through Walmart. I bet she learned her lesson. So if we see Meghan next with a real bad bowl cut, we'll know what happened. Now, getting back to Harry not being in his right frame of mind lately, let's talk about that real fast. And before I start going through this, I want to say I know there's more than one Harry. However, one of them is developing quite a bad stain on the front two teeth. The stain is progressively getting worse on that particular Harry. And if you're not familiar with what causes a stain on your teeth, Google it. A lot more than smoking cigarettes. Not to mention, he's walking around with like frisbee eyes. Big old pupils, glassy eyed. Color of Uncle Fester, big old circles around his eyes. I know we've talked about this in the past, but he's going downhill fast. And let's talk about Meghan. Man, whatever it is they're doing to relax, they might want to say no. Just say no. Is this why they have had so many bad mistakes, so many bad decisions, so many bad choices? They just don't seem like they're in a normal state of mind, to me. And I want to say thank you, Peter, for pointing that out. I wanted to say something, too, that was told to me. All of the socialites, all of who's who, the rich people, the elite over in England, have a nickname for Meghan, Rodent Eye. Now, I'm not quite for sure what it means. I've looked it up on the Urban Dictionary, but it seems totally fitting to me. Now, getting back to them, you would imagine they'd want to be a better influence on little Archie. He's growing up way too fast these days anyway. And you know what, before I go, you guys, I want to tell you, the link's going to be down below in the description box. But I discovered something through my friend Little Detective yesterday. So when they were delivering this food to the sick, not at all a photo shoot that she put together, there's a video going around and you can clearly hear this woman directing the scene. It's a woman instructing this man in the background of this video what's about to happen next. She says, now Daniel's gonna come down. And the man says, okay. And just as she says, Daniel came downstairs when they pushed the button on the gate, picked up the meal, just as the woman directed. Like I said, check out my description. The link will be down there. How sad, thirsty, and desperate can you be? While y'all are checking out the link in my description to that video, if you want to become a member to my Patreon, Join us. A big thank you to all my new members. Lord, it's time to feed these dogs. I'll see you soon and we'll talk fast. Stay safe and be blessed.